Hey guys, it's Cece, and this is my second video of the day, which is going to be my March TBR. So today I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I'm going to be reading in the month of March. Yeah, that's what a TBR is. I do have to say that March is a very exciting month for me for two specific reasons. First of all, spring break is the first week of March for me, which means that I am leaving tomorrow. Yes, and Janelle and I are going on a road trip through New England, which I will be vlogging and I'm very excited about, but also March is great because it is my birthday month. So on March 21st of this year, I turn 22. I am excited. That's why March is exciting, but yes, let's talk about my TBR. And we should start with my challenge books. So my challenges for every month are that I read at least one 2017 release every month and that I read at least one book off of my top 15 to read in 2017 TBR. So the 2017 release that I will be reading specifically this month, I'll actually be reading a couple, but the one for this challenge is going to be The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. I already pre-ordered this book a while back, I'm just waiting for it to arrive. It is about our main character, Star, when she witnesses the killing of her best friend by a police officer and how that affects her life. This book has been highly talked about since it was announced, and just at every stage of the process of this book's release, it has been so hyped. This is a book that I think is going to be really valuable to YA, really valuable to so many readers. Even since it came out a few days ago, the outpour of extremely positive reviews has made me even more excited to get my hands on it than I was before possibly, and I cannot wait to pick it up this month, and I will be doing a full spoiler-free review as soon as I can get back in front of a camera after spring break. So for my other monthly challenge that I have to read at least one book off my top 15 to read in 2017 list, I am planning to read a sequel. So the book on my list is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. This is the second book in the Shades of Magic trilogy. However, I cannot just jump into this book. I also have to reread A Darker Shade of Magic. I am currently reading this book. I just started it. Actually, you guys have to see my bookmark. This is the bookmark that I'm using while I read this book. But yes, I'm currently rereading this. This was my favorite book of last year. I just completely loved it. This book takes place in a world in which there are 4 parallel Londons. There's Red London, White London, Black London, and Grey London. Each one has a different, level of magic, and our main character, Kel, is one of the few people who has the ability to travel between Londons. It's so much fun, it's full of adventure, characters I love, and it's the most fun I've had reading a fantasy book in a really long time. So I am rereading this, and then I will be jumping into the sequel, A Gathering of Shadows, which is the second book in the series, and I will hopefully within the next couple of months also be reading A Conjuring of Light, which is the third book that was just released in February. So A Gathering of Shadows, that is the book from my top 15 to read TBR. Now let's get into some other books I want to read. Speaking of rereads, I'm also rereading Invasion of the Tearling by Erika Johansen. I am trying to get through this series so I can read Fate of the Tearling. I've read this before, but there were so many details I didn't remember about these two books. I just re-reviewed Queen of the Tearling in my wrap-up earlier today, and I will be jumping into the second book in the series to hear more about Kelsey and her journey, which I cannot wait to do. I'm also planning on reading Thanks a Lot, John LeClair by Johanna Pankhurst. This was sent to me by the publisher. It is a super short book, but it is basically a story with a gay main character who is a hockey player. He's in the closet, he's dating his coach's son, and he's on his way to becoming a professional hockey player, and it's about the pressures of being gay and being in hockey. I'm really excited to read this, especially after reading and adoring the webcomic Check Please, which if you don't know is also about gay hockey players, although that is an unimaginably happy comic that I just adored. But I'm excited to read this and hopefully get a little bit of that gay hockey vibe that I loved about Check Please. Cannot wait to read this, plus it is super short. I'm also planning on reading How to Hang a Witch by Adriana Mather, and I am reading this because one of the places that we are going for spring break over our spring break road trip is we are going to Salem, Massachusetts, so I'm definitely reading this while we're in Salem. This follows a main character who moves to Salem, and she is the descendant of one of the people responsible for the Salem witch trials, and she is definitely not welcomed with open arms, and especially especially she becomes the enemy of the Descendants, who are, of course, girls descended from people who did not end happily in the Salem witch trials. That is all I know about this book. I am super excited to read it, especially since I will be in Salem, so cannot wait. I am also currently reading The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. This book was sent to me by HarperCollins as an ebook, and I am currently, like, so hardcore in love with it, I don't even know how to explain. Sorry, I am rapidly losing my light. So, The Upside of Unrequited follows a girl named Molly Peskin-Suso. She and her twin sister have always been really close. And then her sister Cassie gets a new girlfriend, and they are both really trying to force Molly to get into a relationship. But Molly is really afraid of this prospect because, as she says, fat girls get easily rejected, and she is just really terrified of putting herself out there. There's so much to love about this book. There has been on-page pansexuality and bisexuality, as well as a mention of asexual individuals. It is own voices about a Jewish family. Molly and Cassie have 2 moms, and this is a slight companion to Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. If you remember Abby from Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, Molly and Cassie are her cousins, so you get to hear a bit about Abby, what's going on with her, and every now and then you get to hear about Simon, so that's good too. Everything's good. I'm loving it. Okay guys, that is my TBR for the month of March. I'm hoping to get a lot read, but I also have to finish writing my thesis in March, so we'll see. I will also be reading a few e-arcs in the month of March. I haven't decided which yet, but I occasionally post polls on Twitter where you guys can tell me which e-arc I should read next. If you want to be able to vote in those Twitter polls or just hear more about my life, then go follow me on Twitter. Self-promo. Anyway, if you have read any of these books and have thoughts that you'd like to share on them, please do so down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!